Hello, Simon Gawesworth from RIO Products, here today to talk to you about something pretty dang cool. This is our InTouch 3D MOW tips. What are these? Well, first of all, a MOW tip is a type of sink tip that you use when you're spay fishing. It goes on what's called a Skagit line. Skagit lines and MOW tips are designed for casting large flies. Anytime you cast large flies for salmon, steelhead, whatever it is, you need a powerful engine to cast them. That's what a Skagit line is, that's what a MOW tip is. 3D MOW tips are, 3D stands for 3 densities. So these are tips that have triple densities in the sink tip itself. This one I have in my hand here is a medium, and this says I34. That means the back end is an intermediate, the middle section sinks at 3 inches a second, and the front end sinks at 4 inches a second. What does that mean? Well, it means your sink tip sinks like this. Your intermediate sinks slower, your sink 3 sinks a bit quicker, your sink 4 sinks quicker. So you get a very, very good swing with these 3 density tips. That's what the 3D is. The family comes from a light size. You get the light 3D MOWs, and the light 3D MOWs are very good for Skagit lines, anything under about 475 grains. Okay, so kind of remember that number. If you're going to have a 475 grain or less line, then you want to go for the light MOWs. If you have 475 to about 575, then that's what the medium MOWs like this come into it. And we have a heavy set for the really heavy sink tips above 575 grains. That's kind of your ballpark figure. And there's 3 different sink rates within them. This one sinks at, as I said, intermediate sink 3, sink 4. So that's our slowest sinking one. There's a sink 3, sink 4, sink 5. So the back end is sink 3, the front end sink 5. So it's like this, just a little bit deeper. And then the fastest sinking one of all, the one that really dredging down, this is my favorite one for king fishing and winter fishing, really when it's cold you get to have the deepest, slowest swing. This is the sink 5, sink 6, sink 7. So again, you get that same little kind of path like that, but even deeper. So those are very, very good tips for just general fishing. You can put them on your normal Skagit heads, but you also find that these days there's quite a number of Skagit heads that have multiple densities themselves. So when you've got a Skagit head where the front end of it sinks like this one, this is our GameChanger head, the front end of this sinks at 5 inches a second. You can't put on the end of this a sink tip that sinks slower. You don't want a head doing this and your tip doing that, right? So what you want, this sinks at 5 inches a second at the front end, so you put on the 5 inch a second 3D tip, and that's a perfect combination. So those are our InTouch 3D MOW tips. You can get them individually, but you can get them, if you just want to get the set, you can also get them as a set, and they come in this little wallet like that as a handy set, so you can get all 3 of them in a set. So that's our InTouch 3D MOW tips. You can get them from your local RIO dealer, or you can check them out online.
RIO, make the connection.